Let's go for a walk and talk politics. I did a video like this a couple weeks ago where I talked about Maslow's hierarchy of needs being the reason why Democrats lost the election this time around, and it got a lot of really good attention. I really liked that format. People seem to like that format, so I'm doing it again. You know, it's good for me. I get exercise, and it's good for you. You get to hear my opinions out of breath. So let's talk about the big one going on right now, which is Trump's appointments. I've spent a lot of time on this channel so far talking about things Democrats could be doing better or problems with Democrats, but I want to talk about some of my problems with Trump this time around. I don't like many of his appointments, and I don't need to. They're not my appointments. They're not my advisors. They're not going to interact with me in my day-to-day life, but I don't think they're smart choices. On top of that, I think genuinely some of them are not meant to be serious choices. So let's start out with the first one, Elon Musk. Look, I think Elon Musk is a genius on many levels. He clearly has done some amazing things with Tesla. Like, you don't just get to be the richest person on the planet being a complete, total idiot. He does a lot of things great in great ways. But I don't know that he's the best person for the Department of Government Efficiency, given that Tesla isn't necessarily known for being the most efficient company in the first place. I think the reasoning behind appointing Elon Musk is less to do with his job at Tesla, more to do with his takeover of Twitter, rebranding it X, and honestly getting rid of a lot of people who weren't really doing a whole lot of work. That being said, during the transition, I don't know if this is still true, so someone tell me in the comments, but during the transition period, people were working like 60-hour weeks. So when he came in and said a whole bunch of people aren't doing jobs, and then fired a bunch of people and forced the remaining people to work 60-hour weeks, I'm sorry, that doesn't seem right. Just because something is working efficiently doesn't mean it's working optimally. And that's my concern, is instead of an efficient government, I would rather have an optimal government. And when we look at X, I don't know that it's running optimally. When we look at Tesla, I don't know that it's running optimally. And so for this guy to come in as the director of government efficiency with Vivek Ramaswami, who I'll get to in a second, I don't know if I think he's the right guy for that job. Vivek, by the way, Vivek Ramaswamy, I don't think even really ran for president. I think he ran to be an advisor or secretary in a Trump administration. When you look at his performance in the primary debates, he's not really talking about himself a whole lot or his own policies, which, I mean, he did talk about those, but he mostly talked about Trump and Trump's policies and why Trump was great and why we needed to go back to Trump. Right? It drove me nuts because I felt like I wasn't getting Vivek. I was getting Trump through him. Before we move on to RFK Jr., it's important to note that the Department of Government Efficiency is not an actual department. It's a administrative council or something like that. Basically, all they can do is give advice. They can't do anything. So if you are scared of that, just know that there's no legislative teeth to it. They can't do anything without official approval of anybody else. So Doge is going to be a toothless Doge. All right, let's talk about RFK Jr. I cannot do impressions, but that's my best one of RFK Jr. Look, I almost voted for RFK for president, but I had such mixed feelings. Because one day I'd wake up and he'd have said something about deregulating the free market and lowering taxes, and I'd be like, go Robert Jr. But then the next day I'd hear that he put a dead bear in Central Park and did something with a whale carcass or had a worm in his head. And I'm just like, dude, It felt like every time he gave me a reason to vote for him, he also gave me 2 reasons not to. And it was just, it was hard. I'm looking around to see if there's people around because I'm self-conscious about recording in front of other people, even though I post this publicly to the internet. Here's my problems with RFK. One, he's like a semi-anti-vaxxer. He's not fully. Obviously, he's said many times that he's not anti-vaccine. And I do agree with him that you should be able to choose what you put into your body. And so you shouldn't be forced by the government to get a vaccine or anything like that. Your choice. I love that. But he has also supported people and research that shows that vaccines cause autism, which they don't. He also likes to compare the ingredients lists of European and Canadian foods to those of American ones, but he's basing his analyses of them on the same misunderstandings that a lot of people are when they try to compare European food, Canadian food, to American food, specifically regarding things like dyes. Red 40 is used in Europe, it's just labeled something different. Fruit Loops have the same number of ingredients in Canada and Europe as they do in the United States. It's just that in Europe and Canada, some of those can be lumped together, and in America, they have to be separated. As someone who has formerly lived in Europe, I can tell you the problem is not the food. Those people gorge themselves on meat and potatoes all day, every day. Europeans are skinnier because they walk everywhere. I spent 2 years as a missionary for my church living in Poland, and I had a car for maybe like 4 months of the time there. Every other time I was there, I was walking everywhere, using buses, using trams, all of that. And I lost like 15 pounds the first 2 months I was there. My metabolism had already slowed down, so it's not like I was just suddenly getting my adult metabolism. I was already there. I just walked everywhere suddenly, and I lost all that weight. And I did not lose a whole lot. I knew people who lost so much weight that they could fit 2 people into the pair of pants that they showed up with by the time they left to go home. Also, I ran into a lot of obese Europeans. And you know what the difference was? They didn't walk everywhere. A lot of studies have recently shown that walking is one of the most beneficial things for your health. That's why I'm out here doing it right now on the Pennsy Trail in central Indiana, which is a project that is meant to put a trail next to or along the entire path of the original Pennsylvania Railroad, which is really cool. And I would show you a sign, but they're currently all being removed. The point is, I'm concerned that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is going to make all of these changes to our health that are based in pseudoscience and not actual science. That all being said, I don't think he's just some weirdo crackpot. I think he makes a lot of really good points, and I think he's got a lot of really good ideas when it comes to encouraging people to exercise. All right, next, Matt Gaetz as Attorney General. I do not think this is real. I don't. I think this one was meant to be a joke. It was meant to kind of be a screw you middle finger that Donald Trump put to the Democrats to kind of be like, look at you, you have to consider him for this amazingly high position of power, even though you all hate him. I don't think he genuinely wanted Matt Gaetz to do it. I think it was just kind of a joke. It was a meme. The government's becoming a meme already with Doge, so why not further it? And I think that as evidence that Matt Gaetz wasn't a serious choice, you've got the fact that Pat Bondi was nominated after him, and she's actually got experience being an attorney general. There's also a small part of me that wants to believe that Matt Gaetz was nominated by Donald Trump because Donald Trump wanted to get him out of Congress. Hear me out. Gaetz is associated with very far-right politics. Donald Trump is trying to distance himself from that right now. He nominates Gaetz knowing that Gaetz won't be confirmed. Gaetz resigns from Congress so that he can take the position and then doesn't get confirmed. Now he's out of Congress and isn't Attorney General. I'm not saying that's what they did, but it kind of feels like it. Next is Linda McMahon over the Department of Education. And again, meme government. I think what's important to remember here, though, is that Linda McMahon is not being brought in as Secretary of the Department of Education because she is an expert on education. I think she's being brought in because she can shut it down. And whether you agree with it being shut down or not, that's what Trump's trying to do. And she would be great for shutting it down. So this is what I think about Donald Trump's executive department picks so far. I'm not excited for how those are going to go, I think, but I am excited for the Saturday Night Live cold opens. I'm ready for that. I hope the noise of the wind didn't bother you too much. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and share this with other people. If you agree with me, let me know in the comments. If you disagree, also let me know in the comments. If there's something in here you would like me to talk about more, or if there's something I didn't bring up you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments. I'll try and make shorter videos about that. Also, just to thank you in general. I've gotten a lot of subscribers and followers and views over these last few weeks talking about politics. And talking about politics is something that I do a lot in my own private life, but publicly it's something I've been scared to do. And so I wanted to thank everyone for the support for that. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe, or don't. Your choice. Have a great day.